Welcome, everyone, to Progressive Discussions, Hard-Hitting Truth. This is a special new edition of Progressive Discussions called The Progressive Piranha, and that's me, Piranha Madonna, James P. Madonna, and I want to welcome my good, close, near-dear friend and co-host on commentary, the one and only Jeff Zambello. All natural, safe, competitive, alternative fitness, circular training, kettlebell competition, and powerlifter, Jeff Zambello, the man who conducts the very unique and different and extremely effective. And most of all, he is a very honest man of high integrity, the Jeff Zambello Fitness Workshop System. Okay, you will hear more about it, and then when the vintage games occurs within a reasonable traveling distance, of Jeff Zambello, you will see Jeff Zambello compete in the vintage games. Jeff, very happy to see you here. Hold on. Jeff Zambello says, James, I am very excited to be discussing how media-generated fear coincides, propagates greedy opportunist gouging. Oh, yeah, and it's getting worse. Opportunistic greed and extortion of poor seniors on fixed incomes. Yes, Jeff Zambello. And there you see Jeff Zambello in living technicolor. Actually, you know, it'd be cool if you use your avatar of you on stage with the blue shirt. But, you know, I'm sure there will be many great photos of you to come. Let me start by discussing, well, first, we need 7 lucky bells for the evil spirits. And there won't be much levity, if any. This is how I have to control the show if decorum is gone. You know what I mean? Like if someone has to be interrupted and dummied up, like Archie Bunker used to say. This could be for levity or for dummying people up. Now, I went out today, this afternoon, because I needed to run some errands. And first I had to go to the bank, and then the bank, which is across the street from a large hospital, the one that took care of George Clooney when he had the motorcycle accident. Now it's owned by Hackensack, Meridian Health, it's called. Then I went to Walgreens, and I was looking for different items. I was looking for antibacterial wipes, pre-moistened towelettes, because they do make outstanding toilet bowl. I'm sorry. They make an outstanding toilet paper alternative. Much more effective, especially when you do what I do. You get the large package of baby wipes that are just plain ordinary pre-moistened wipes. And you make your own antibacterial wipes for wiping things, and most of all for your ass. Because people are physically fighting over toilet paper in department stores and supermarkets. So you open it up and you pour maybe a half a bottle of hydrogen peroxide. That's right, hydrogen peroxide into the pre-moistened wipes, the towelettes. Now you have antibacterial towelettes. And hydrogen peroxide kills the coronavirus, and it also kills rhinovirus, which causes the common cold. But it does surprisingly kill coronavirus a lot faster than rhinovirus. Guess what? Walgreens didn't have anything. They didn't have disposable latex gloves. So I went over to Edgewater Market, where Trader Joe's is. So I left Trader Joe's last because I needed milk. No sense of getting the perishable item first. But before I did that, because when I went to Edgewater Market, I did find, I would say 95% of what I was looking for, maybe 90%. Because I had hydrogen peroxide. I have enough now from the dollar store, from the Dollar Zone. So I walk up to the general manager of Walgreens and I tell him about the Consumer Report article saying that instead of being price gouged, buying hand sanitizer made by Purell, and incidentally, Amazon is selling Purell hand sanitizer for, listen to this, 80, that's right, 80 US dollars per gallon. Even Amazon, that dildo-headed Jeff Bezos, is price gouging. They're all price gouging people out of everything. So I said to the Walgreens manager, hi, Ronnie S. He said if he had time, he's too busy. He wasn't doing anything. He was listening to music, Ronnie S. He was just listening to music. But when the Boo shows come on, I get the link to join, right? Okay, yeah, well, we'll see about that. Anyway, when I asked the Walgreens manager, when I told him about the 4 teaspoons of chlorine bleach in 1 quart of water as a very inexpensive yet very effective hand sanitizer, he says to me, "Are you sure it's strong enough?" I go, "Excuse me. Have you ever attempted to drink bleach? You'll find out how strong bleach is." Even restaurants over here near me are using watered down bleach as a sanitizer for their counters and for everything. Believe me, chlorine bleach in the right dilution will kill everything, including coronavirus on contact. So he wanted to be a big shot because he sells the price gouge, high price hand sanitizer. That's part of this price gouging. So that's why I got sarcastic and I says, "Oh, you don't think it's strong enough? Why don't you try drinking the chlorine bleach? Or why don't I try shoving it down your fucking throat?" Hold on, let me check. James, have you seen any examples? Younger people in Edgewater, New Jersey, buying food and other household essentials for seniors in their community? No. The young people are still crowding into nightclubs and dance clubs like a pack of sardines in a can. They're behaving in like they're indestructible. I haven't been there. My stupid friend goes there. I stopped. They're not doing anything charitable at all, Jeff Zambello. The American children of the rich yuppies in my area do not do anything charitable. No one's doing a fucking thing for the senior citizens. They only get special public announcements, pre-recorded messages on their phone. Jeff Zambello says, James, please teach the audience how you created your own version of. Okay, I just did. I got this from Consumer Reports. I did not make this up. Just to sound, like many people on the internet. Many people on the internet that wax the bishop and think they're going to get fucking discovered. Consumer Reports article, 4 whole teaspoons, and do it slowly because bleach will leave spots on your good clothes. 4 whole teaspoons, don't be a cheap fuck, whole teaspoons of chlorine bleach into 32 ounces of, ordinary cold tap water or room temperature tap water. It doesn't have to be spring water or Perrier or San Pellegrino. Don't be a fucking big shot yuppie like the assholes that live in my area. And shake it up. Shake it up good. Like a shake weight. Like the shake weight. And pour it into a small spray bottle. I happen to have a small empty Purell bottle that we had when my mother was still alive, when Purell was at a modest, humble price. It would be a nice gesture from a local church or charitable organization if their leaders deploy the younger members to buy food and household products for the seniors in their community. Yeah, it would be nice. Except all the younger members don't even attend church service. I don't see any. They're too busy worrying about where their next BMW or Ferrari is coming from, and where they can go that's crowded and popular and get drunk and party. Nobody is doing anything charitable in northern New Jersey in terms of young people. You're lucky if you get young people to vote, even though they show up at all the rallies. Like, remember Occupy Wall Street, Jeff Zambello? Occupy Wall Street, they were camping out in tents, blocking the sidewalk, blocking people from getting to their jobs because they thought it was like a reenactment of Woodstock, because it was a public event that was on TV, and maybe they will get seen on camera. Maybe their friends and family will see them. Okay. The place to be. Not that they gave a shit about the crooks on Wall Street that should have never gotten a bailout. So no, young people have not done anything charitable. So anyway, after I got done with the store manager at Walgreens, I asked a couple staff members that were friendly to me when I walked in. I says, do you have any disposable latex gloves? And she says, oh, I'm sorry, we're out of them. But the way people were behaving, now I was a good 20 feet away from her. She was like looking at me like I was Ted Bundy, a serial killer or something. Like I had the bubonic plague and Ebola wrapped up in one. And like I was Ted Bundy. It's like everybody's was acting really bizarre and strange today. Like Armageddon is around the corner, like the asteroid is about to collide with the planet Earth. And I would say most, besides Asian people, most people that were wearing masks were women. And they were acting extremely paranoid. Now, many of the masks that are being sold, Jeff Zambello, are not the real sealed medical masks that doctors and nurses wear in hospitals. They're semi-porous. So they're not really that effective. And the top doctors in Washington and locally recommend that the mask is only good if you have an infection, if you have an influenza, if you have the coronavirus, to help prevent you from spreading it to others. Not necessarily to protect you from catching it, because of course how it's transmitted is by hand, fingers, okay, coming up to your face, touching your mouth, nose, or eyes. And when a person wears a mask, what do you see them doing? Constantly readjusting their mask, touching their face, constantly readjusting the mask. So the problem originates from the hands. Now, I'm happy that people are doing elbow bumps instead of shaking their hand, or sometimes a foot bump. No more high fives, no more handshakes. And that's understandable. And people are keeping their distance. Like at Costco in Shanghai, China, the management were talking on megaphones, reminding everyone to stay 1 meter away from each other while shopping. Please get what you're here to shop for and expedite the premises. In other words, put an egg in your shoe and beat it. Don't stay here too long. But keeping a distance from people is very wise. Now, thank you, Wuhan province, for eating freaky ass exotic wild animals in cages. You can't eat normal food like the rest of the world. Oh no, you have to eat germy ass bats and armadillos, which by the way carry leprosy, people, in real life. Bats carry everything. You can't eat normal food. So I told my friend in Shanghai, I hope your government outlaws the consumption of these wild exotic animals. Now, she said the problem is the underground, the black market. There are rich people, rich motherfuckers, that are bored with their lives and they want to live life in the fast lane. They can't eat normal food, or they have to look for the new drug to give them that extra thrill. They can't, they're bored. So what do? They spend all kinds of money wanting to eat an endangered species creature or a strange creature as food. Well, guess what? This is how it started. Now, the entire world is involved in a pandemic. The poor Italians in Italy are in deep trouble. Iran is in deep trouble. The United States, the victims are growing. New York City has over 463 victims alone. New Jersey has almost closing in on 180, getting close. And that's not counting the rest of the country. Now, people with pre-existing illnesses are at the highest risk, like your senior citizens or anyone with pre-existing illnesses. Kidney disease, heart disease, pre-existing or lung disease. Any diabetics are at high risk, very high risk. But if you're reasonably healthy, you will usually ride it out like any other influenza, but you have to be quarantined until it's gone, until you test negative, which could take 2 to 3 weeks, depending on your immune system. I personally ordered from Swanson Vitamins, and I got it. 2 big bottles of extra strength mega garlic extract oil in soft gel capsules. I have them in the refrigerator. Garlic is very powerful. Now let me see what Jeff Zambello is saying here. Okay, Jeff Zambello says, in your opinion, did Governor Murphy of New Jersey make the right decision regarding the curfew? All right, let me think about this. He had good intentions. He meant well because he was trying to keep people from attending public places, which would accelerate the spread of coronavirus. All the sporting events, it's not just New Jersey, all sporting events have no audience, no one in the seats. Nobody's in the seats, right? All the talk shows that people watch on TV, The Tonight Show, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, no one in the seats, no studio audience. Sporting events, I know the NBA, I know all professional sports will be crippled by this. I know for a fact that all cafes, restaurants, nightclubs, dance clubs will be crippled by this curfew. But Jeff Zambello, we are having a pandemic. And right now, there's no cure for it. There's no vaccine, even though they claim that this April, there might very well be a vaccine. And I read an article that medical doctors or medical scientists in Australia have been very successful treating coronavirus patients with this new drug. Thank God. I hope it's legitimate. Knock on wood. So until we have a vaccine or a drug that can eradicate this pandemic, the curfew is the only decision that our political leaders or public servants, and I use that term very loosely, that's the only option they have, Mr. Jeff Zambello. Okay, now Jeff Zambello says, you're a wonderful co-host in text form and in spirit too, in spirit. I'm really pissed off at the motherfuckers from the craft beer and hard liquor reviewing shows blowing off my program. Fuck you. Why? Because it says I'm a progressive? Fuck you. Because I'm wearing this red beret? I hope this gets back to you. Go fuck yourselves. I wish we have a civil war in this country so we can kick your fucking ass. You know what I mean? Or maybe the super volcano will blow and fucking consume your flag waving asses, blowing off James Piranha Madonna on his important show and public safety announcements, you cocksuckers. And I hope it gets back to you. Please get back to you. Jeff Zambello says, how come wealthy people are always bored with their lives and suffer from depression if they are not titillated, spine-tingled, or have to be thrilled, thus exhorting to eating exotic animals? Yeah, why do the very rich get bored with their lives so quickly and so easily that they're constantly looking for a new thrill. Remember that song from the 80s? I think it was called I Need a New Drug. I wonder if that was about this. You know, the lyrics in a lot of those 1980s songs from new wave music, a lot of them were very deep. Like, you ever hear of Tears for Fears when they sang Shout? They were from Germany. They were a German group. You know, there were really meaningful lyrics in 80s music. Okay, yeah, that's a good question. You brought up an excellent point, Jeff Sambello. And I want people to read 2 Timothy in the Bible. It describes how people will become in the end times. And the book of Revelations predicted pestilence and plagues. Pestilence and plagues. Pandemics was prophesied. Okay, we're gonna have more words of wisdom from my illustrious co-host Jeff Sambello. So, the book of Deuteronomy, as written by the prophet Moses, is correct in regards to Hebrew dietary code. Bats, snakes, sharks, forked toad, as in the camel's toe, animals is prohibited. Yeah, they were called unclean animals. You know, when Jesus came, he did not come to eliminate the law. He came to fulfill the law. So salvation is always on God's terms, not on your terms. Yes, I think it was it Leviticus? Where it mentions all of the unclean animals. I think it's Leviticus. Was that I know Proverbs was written by Solomon. Leviticus, I think. Well, they might have mentioned the unclean foods in both Deuteronomy and Leviticus, but they're there for a reason. And if you do not obey and follow the rules and comply, you will suffer the consequences. It's that simple. Do you think we're living in the end times? Of course. I believe we're living in the end times. For those that are believers, I respect those that believe in science and believe that we are nothing but one gigantic extraterrestrial experiment, and you choose to be agnostic or an atheist, as long as you don't force your beliefs on others. If you want to put 100% of your faith in science, that's you're right, because we have freedom of religion under the Constitution, which not too many people pay attention to nowadays. The Constitution of the United States. Okay, Jeff Sambello says, James, to all those beer connoisseurs who choose to not participate in this very interesting live show, I have to scratch an itch in the middle of my forehead. Yes, I do. The middle of my forehead is very itchy and it needs to be scratched. I know you enjoy when I do that. The levity belt. I mean, sincerely, you think you're better than other people because you had a profession. You had a profession that required a college degree before you retired, so you feel I guess you feel you are. Plus, you're a zealot, so you feel you are sanctimonious and pretentious, and you think you're better than others. So your time is more valuable, you motherfucker. Your time. Wait until me and Damian Owens does the next show Sunday on the regular time slot for the progressive Piranha. We're not going to be kind to you folks if you know what I mean. We're not going to be so kind, and just push me this much more, and I will start mentioning names on this show. And believe me, I have mentioned names in the past, and I will mention names again. You fucking prick. Think you're fucking better than James P. Madonna, you motherfucker? Jeff Zambello says, and there he is in living technicolor. So if bats have rabies, which can kill a human, why would a Chinese national buy such an exotic animal from the black market? From what I heard, because the Chinese have sort of embraced the negative, toxic, evil aspect of capitalism by selling to the filthy rich through the black market. They are selling these caged exotic animals, and should I say endangered, threatened and endangered species that are supposed to be protected as food for the very wealthy that are willing to pay a high price because they have this sick desire to eat things that are endangered and exotic, or to act like a big fucking tough guy, a macho man, and go to Africa on a safari hunting trip and maybe shoot an endangered creature, like shoot an African elephant or a poor giraffe, until the time came when occasionally an article appears where the big game hunter that has probably a small penis and little raisin balls got mauled, M-A-U-L-E-D, by a lion because he was a lousy shot and he missed, and the lion killed his ass, and they found one of them consumed, one of the big game hunters that wants to be a big tough guy, macho man. All right. And these are big game hunters that are wealthy. These are wealthy people that need that extra thrill in their lives. Guess what? Mother Nature got them. Mother Nature got them. James, both you and I do not think we are better or superior to others because we had the privilege of having wonderful grandmothers who used a wooden spoon to kindly discipline us. You're damn right, corporal punishment works. Not this bullshit where you have to negotiate with your children like they're equals. No, they're a minor. You're supporting their ass. You're the parent. You are the alpha. They are subordinate to you. Corporal punishment worked in the old days because we grew up learning respect for others that have earned respect. I just want to remind everyone that respect is earned. You are not entitled to respect, just like you are not entitled to many things in life. Okay? And the wooden spoon was extremely painful because it came in different sizes and different weights. And the wooden spoon also had something called torque. I don't mean Peter Tork from the Monkees. I mean, you hold it at the end and the spoon was on the other end and the weight was on one side. You got whacked with torque, and it was effective. I can see the person who has such precious time because they are listening to things like music on the internet has not shown up yet. I think I will do perhaps one more show because I have one more bottle of hard liquor, and I will stop doing shows with these motherfuckers. Because guess what? Now I allow craft beer reviewing at the end of my shows. Okay? Other people like to say, I'm the boss because it's my show. I said, I make the rules. Well, guess what? I make the rules too on my show. And my rules is I have no censorship. I don't believe in censorship. I respect the original Constitution of the United States of America. So if you want to curse, you can curse. I'm not a zealot. I'm not a religious fanatic at all. You know, I'm not afraid to talk like I was in a locker room with the guys, with the alpha men that are in a gym locker room are the most honest people you'll ever talk to. Even an alpha woman. And there are women that are very cool. There's not many of them. Women that are honest, not militant feminists with a selfish power agenda. All right. Jeff Zambello says, some of the big shots who feel superior to others could perhaps, from a good old-fashioned nose job from your shillelagh, yeah, or my pipe wrench, which I belovingly call Uncle Frank, because the pipe wrench is shaped like the letter F. And Uncle Frank was one of my favorite uncles. He was a ballroom dancing professional teacher working for Gene Kelly himself. And he taught my mother and I some ballroom dancing moves. And he's the one that got my mother and I started on holistic health and nutrition. That was Uncle Frank. So may he rest in peace with my other favorite uncle, Uncle Philip, Battleship, Missouri, United States Navy. Okay. President of his own electronics component company that had government contracts. And a conservative gentleman like Jeff Zambello. And my two favorite uncles. May they rest in peace. Actually, I will dedicate this show to my two favorite uncles, Frank Guarino and Philip Nicolosi. I will toast them. Not with toast, with this. All right. Yeah, I'm glad you brought this up too. Aside from all the whack jobs out there, but there are nice people that I spoke to today. 2 or 3 of them were cool. Yeah, they're not all paranoid wackos out there, but most people are fucked up. Is Amazon still extorting hand sanitizer for $80 a bottle? Please be assured that people remember for a long time who blanked them during this coronavirus, so Amazon will be remembered. Actually, the people that manufacture Purell should also be remembered, Jeff Zambello, because the Consumer Report article, I posted it online everywhere, and it mentions the bleach diluted with water, the 4 teaspoons of chlorine bleach in 32 ounces of water. It mentions hydrogen peroxide. And you know, one of my neighbors, the wife of William, the musician from the Holy Rosary, the Church of the Holy Rosary, next door to me in Edgewater, New Jersey, the one that screwed my gig of playing the African djembe drum with the church choir, the one that fucked me over. They were walking the dog today as I was walking home with my purchased items and my gallon of milk. And I told them about the dilution of bleach with water from Consumer Reports, and she says, I don't believe it. It'll then the bleach will destroy your immune system. Oh yeah, all right. Yeah, maybe she's the sucker that fucking spent $80 for a gallon of Purell. Maybe she's one of those suckers that believes everything she hears on television or everything she reads. Yeah, you want to be all right? Go ahead, piss all your money away. Buy the Purell. You heard that, Jeff Zambello. That's a true story as I was walking home. Jeff Zambello says, how much money is enough? To what lengths will Madison Avenue ad agencies or Wall Street financiers go to in order to make enormous amounts of dough? $1,000 per seminar attendee? Very good point, Jeff Zambello. Very good point. How much money is enough for these people? Honestly, I think if a major corporation it showed incompetency and shot themselves in both feet, that there shouldn't be such a thing as we are too big to fail. Therefore, you must always bail us out. Oh no. If you're big and you fail and you fall like Humpty Dumpty off a great wall, guess what? What's waiting in the wings right behind you? A emerging growth company that's mid-level, a small company that became a mid-level company, and all of a sudden they're doing the right thing, and they have good research and development engineers, and they have an honest president, or they might even be family owned, and they're ready to take your place. And that includes smaller banks. Maybe there are federal credit unions and savings and loans getting ready to take over the fat cat crooked banks. That's capitalism is supposed to have competition, not a monopoly. So how much money truly is enough? Without mentioning names, I like the owner has the establishment with low flow faucets and movable toilets by Fatty Arbuckle, taking proper steps to help keep customers safe from the coronavirus. We're talking about the scammers of the circular training industry that have no physical fitness or nutrition credentials whatsoever in their background. And due to shrewd marketing practices, they have become alternative fitness celebrities doing seminars, now asking for $1,000 a person for suckers. And their seminar is predominantly made up of personal stories and jokes with very little education. Yes, P.T. Barnum was right. There is a sucker born every minute. Now, I am going to check on my corned beef brisket really quick, and I will be right back. So you enjoy a little commentary by my buddy and co-host, Mr. Jeff Zambello, because I will be back in a flash. Okay, I'm back. Now, before I go to the commentary of Jeff Zambello, oh, good news. My corned beef brisket, my big slab of corned beef brisket was cooked. And I placed in several big hunks of cabbage because I like my cabbage in big hunks. So I added the cabbage because you must not add the cabbage too soon. Why? Why? I'll tell you why. Because the cabbage will turn to mush. While cooking corned beef and cabbage, even if it was like Yankee pot roast, you put the potatoes in towards the end. Same thing if you're going to cook turkey parts in a pot. You cook the meat first and put the veggies in last. So the cabbage went in just now, and corned beef is done. And I believe when you slice it, make sure you slice it with the grain, not against the grain. I think that's how it goes. But where are my manners? I want to say happy St. Patrick's Day to all Irish Americans and people of in the Republic of Ireland as well as Northern Ireland. I want to say happy St. Patrick's Day to all Irish people. Okay, and I have the Blackthorn. I had to go get it. The Blackthorn Lucky Shillelagh with the shamrock of authenticity. Blackthorn Shillelagh, imported from County Winslow, I believe. County Winslow, which I believe is in the southeastern section of Ireland. Wicklow, I believe, not Winslow. The Wicklow County. I think that's, Wicklow County, Wicklow. Wick. Wicklow County, southeastern Ireland is where the blackthorn forests are, where they make these all different kinds of shillelaghs, both the cudgel, the weapons grade, which comes in different shapes. You know, some are round, some are like this, and also the walking stick, blackthorn shillelagh walking stick, which the British tried to. First, they outlawed the weapons grade blackthorn shillelaghs when the Irish used to make them out of oak. Then the English attempted to destroy all oak trees in Ireland. And that's when the Irish turned to the blackthorn tree, which it's a very hard wood. And, they try to make oak extinct. So, oak is very sacred to Northern Europe. So how the Irish got around it is they converted the weapons grade shillelagh, the cudgel, into a walking stick. Now, naturally, the English could not ban walking sticks because walking sticks were a big part of society. Either highfalutin big shots used to take a stroll with a walking stick because you never know when you need it. People that were disabled needed a walking stick. So they were smart. They converted it into a walking stick, which is sort of like a bow staff. Now, there is a sport, an ancient sport called Irish stick fighting, Jeff Zambello, Irish stick fighting. And it is similar to the Chinese Shaolin monks using the bow staff. And there is a martial arts science to the Irish stick fighting. Okay, it's very impressive. You can just go to YouTube and look it up. But getting back to the fact that I forgot to say this at the beginning because of this crisis we're going through, the pandemic. Again, happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone, especially all the Irish. Okay? All right. Now back to Jeff Zambello. Okay, no, that I did. James, if the U.S. taxpayers save or bail out those too big to fail, will those Wall Street extortionists let us stay for free at their palatial estates on the Hamptons of Long Island, New York? I wouldn't hold your breath waiting for that. Like, what about the palatial Mission Viejo Country Club in South, I believe, I looked on the map, it's southeast of Los Angeles. Southeast of Los Angeles, the palatial Mission Viejo Country Club. Ooh. Okay. Thank you, Ronnie S. And happy St. Patrick's Day to you. And like Archie Bunker said when he was making steak by himself and he burnt it, he said, "I'm going to eat steak till I bust." Well, I'm once again, like I do every year, I am going to eat corned beef brisket and cabbage until I bust. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you too. I guess Jay would rather listen to music on the internet than talk about the things he tells me in private, like about the New World Order, secret societies, rigging, trying to rig this whole thing, create the mass hysteria, create the price gouging, create the panic. So, people will be like, like livestock eating out of the palm of their hands. So maybe Ronnie knows a lot about this crap. Yeah, about this New World Order stuff. And even Jeff Zambello knows a lot too. Ay, ay, ay. We never run out of material, gentlemen, with these shows, which is good. It's like a comedian never running out of joke material, right? Jeff Zambello says, James, I believe a local church in Lodi, New Jersey, is a black belt in stick fighting. I'm sorry, a local coach. Oh my God. I'm probably hungry. James, I believe a local coach in Lodi, New Jersey, is a black belt in stick fighting. Yeah, the Eskrima. You mean the ones where the martial arts where they fight with like two sticks? They practice it in the Philippines, and which most likely came from China. I think it's called the Eskrima stick. ESCRIMA. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's the martial arts of fighting with two sticks. You know who was an expert at Eskrima stick fighting? You're going to be shocked because he used to show me photos and used to talk to me on the phone about it. The great Richard Army McGuire was not only martial arts and catch wrestling, karate, but stick fighting was his thing. And also, he knows Irish stick fighting because he's Irish. Okay, here we go. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what he told me. Ronnie S. says, it is true that they're putting the whole New York City on lockdown. Well, we're on lockdown. Ronnie, here in New Jersey, Governor Phil Murphy, former Wall Street boy, working for Goldman Sachs once upon a time and very wealthy. We have a curfew here. No one is allowed to be in any public environment, and I repeat, any public environment between 8 p.m. and 5 a.m., which what's going to what that's going to do to restaurants, cafes, diners, any social events, sporting events, nightclubs, dance clubs. Financially, that is going to cripple all of these businesses. It's horrible. Mr. Ranias. Jeff Zambello says, New World Order, the Illuminati, the Freemasons, the annual meetings at Davos, Switzerland, with all the elites. Hey, don't forget the Bohemian Grove in the forests of Northern California, where they worship this pagan god, Molech. I think it's a big statue of an owl, where they, in the Middle East or Assyria, I forgot, they used to do human sacrifices to this Molech. Yeah. They have private meetings. The most elite of the elite they attend the Bohemian Grove once a year. And then you have, don't forget, the Bilderbergs, the Skull and Bones, Jeff Zambello, the Bilderbergs. You know who Jesse Ventura's people saw attending a private Bilderberg meeting together? Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton were both seen. You know the old saying, gentlemen, if it walks, sounds, and looks like a duck, it's a duck. Jeff Zambello say, without mentioning names, if I get mad enough, I do. I like the owner has the establishment with low flow faucets and movable toilets by Fatty Arbuckle, taking proper steps to help keep customers safe from coronavirus. I have not been there at that buffet. Without mentioning any names, the man happens to be Turkish. He's a Muslim that caters to Muslim customers. He kisses their ass, but he's been very rude to the non-Muslim infidel customers like yours truly and others. And he was rude to my buddy Jeff Zambello by blowing him off one time. But he kisses his Goombadas, his paisans ass big time. He has done nothing. I was there. I haven't been there in 2 solid weeks, or was it 3? 2 weeks. He has done nothing. But guess who was there the last Friday I was there? Guess who showed up for a surprise visit? The Saddlebrook, New Jersey Health Department doing a surprise investigation because 2 people were sick for 48 hours with vomiting and diarrhea. Surprise visit by the Saddlebrook, New Jersey Health Department. No, he's not doing anything because he's probably one of those radical Muslim extremists that doesn't like anybody that isn't like him. And he probably wants to execute everybody that's different from him. Well, guess what? Let him be rude and disrespectful by yelling at them in front of other people and embarrassing them. Let him be rude and disrespectful to the wrong individual, and they will probably beat the living shit out of him. See, inside the buffet is private property. He's the proprietor. But when you step outside, like the old saying, let's step outside, he will, I guarantee you, he will mind a civil tongue. Honestly, I would carpet bomb the shit out of those countries. You know, I really would. I don't have any tolerance for bullshit, or nor do I have tolerance for reverse discrimination, and it does exist, even though neoliberals and people of other races will tell you it's impossible. Oh, it exists, all right. It exists. And this is a progressive telling you this. And I don't go for special treatment of any lobbying group or affirmative action, like the way Dana Bash, Cunt Bash of CNN was nagging Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders, saying, will you make a pledge right now on national TV, in public and on national TV, that you will choose a female vice presidential running mate? Dana Bash, Cunt Bash, fuck you. Motherfucker, cocksucker. Ronnie Essay says, all these politicians seem to come from Goldman Sachs. You are very astute. Yeah. I wonder if Bernard Madoff used to work for Goldman Sachs. You remember Bear Stearns? They didn't have such a wonderful reputation either. Goldman Sachs seems to have put out, and isn't it a coincidence that Goldman Sachs put out so many politicians, and they're all filthy rich? And some of them ran as Democrats that feel, wink, wink, nod, nod, feel your pain. Yes, they feel your pain. A former New Jersey governor, John Corzine, was a former Goldman Sachs employee. Mr. Ronnie S. John Corzine. See, I believe in studying patterns, because patterns, that's a scientific analysis of things. When you have a pattern forming, you have to analyze it, you know? What's your opinion on King Cuomo? Well, King Cuomo is of course, the older brother of CNN's Chris Cuomo. And I believe they're not progressives. They moderately feel your pain. I believe they are moderate corporatist Democrats. Of course, like Chris Cuomo is sucking up to the people that signs his paycheck, because I could tell by the way he talks. Everyone on CNN is for creepy, touchy-feely, closet pedophile, sleepy Joe Biden, who is a corporatist. He's otherwise known as, in progressive Piranha talk, he is a corporate whore. I know Gary Null scolded me one time for using the word corporate whore. He says, raise the bar, James. You could do better than that, than use that kind of language. I says, all right, corporate prostitute. He didn't like my sarcasm. He knows me. I had a big falling out with him, the famous Gary Null. So anyway, he's a corporatist, but he's not as progressive as Bill de Blasio. Bill de Blasio has become a true progressive, but not in 2016, when he first endorsed Bernie Sanders, and then all of a sudden his black wife decided she's endorsing Hillary Clinton, and then he did a big flip-flop and he decided to endorse Hillary Clinton in 2016 because his wife decided to endorse the female candidate, because they want to make history and have the first female president of the United States. So what are husbands that do what their wives tell them to do? What are they? What do they have in their schnozola? A big ring, right? They're not alpha men. They're beta men. So I lost respect for Bill de Blasio in 2016, but him and his wife made a big turnaround. So therefore, I forgive him. It is possible for the progressive Piranha to forgive people. But right now, a certain someone that's listening to music that where it's more important than be here, like he said he wanted to. But when you listen to music on the internet, there's something called the pause button. Yes, he could have hit the pause button, Ronnie S. and Jeff Zambello. And he could have went back to listening to the music. But he's too important to be here because I'm the progressive Piranha. Yeah. Jeff Zambello say. President George Bush Sr. was a member of the Skull and Bones at Yale University. The Bushes are also members of the Bilderbergs, well-known fact. Well, how come that does not surprise me? I think, well, the Freemasons go way the hell back. I think to Scotland, right? And usually these secret societies, they don't like middle-class people or low-income people or poor or po folk. They know like a po folk. You have to be an elitist. You have to be very, very financially independent. Jeff Zambello. You know, you gotta find one of those photos of yourself on stage, like the one with you. Remember when you were hoisting something on stage at one of the competitions? That'll be so cool, and you can use it as an avatar. So when I bring up your name and what you're saying, your beautiful image would show up. Seriously. Just like this is my avatar. Guy Fawkes. Yeah, this is my avatar. Jeff Zambello. All right. In all its neon splendor. So, Jeff Zambello says, my co-hosts say, James, how does your corned beef brisket compare with the stringy pastrami found at Katz's New York delicatessen? I am impressed with your culinary skills. Did your grandmother teach you how to cook? You know, she was a great inspiration because before I started watching all of the famous cooking shows like The Galloping Gourmet, Graham Kerr, and Julia Child, the French chef, and Martin Yan, who used to tell jokes and laugh at his own jokes, and Justin Wilson, the Cajun cook from New Orleans, and Paul Prudhomme, the guy that looked like Dom DeLuise. I used to watch all of them. I used to watch even Nick Stolino, Ming Tsai, but they came later. But yes, I used to watch the old cooking shows. But my grandmother was the first inspiration because God rest her soul, my mother tried her best, but my mother was a professional singer back in the day and ballroom dancer, and she also won Miss Northern New Jersey beauty contest in 1955. So she wasn't really blessed with the culinary talents to be a role model. But since I lived a great deal of my childhood was spent living with my grandparents, and my grandparents were my role models, I would say my grandmother was an inspiration. Yes, sir. Yes, Jeff Zambello. James, I once saw an avatar on your car window with a certain someone having embellished mitochondria, biceps, triceps with a cannonball attached to a steel shaft. Yeah, a giant dildo. Well, that wonderful avatar or car windshield decal has long been incinerated at the junkyard since I lost that car in a flood. So that decal, that avatar is no more and will forever be no more because I will never honor anyone, any one of these charlatans that does seminars, especially functional hobby, Mr. Shakeweight himself, functional hobby that rented a spot at Times Square by 42nd Street where the New Year's Eve ball drops. Rented space, which I'm sure did not come cheap, to promote his so-called valuable alternative circular training seminars, or should I say semen odds. It's nothing but cock dribble barnacle chowder. And I will never support such cads, such scallywags. Never. Scoundrels, falabuto, in Italian. Jeff Zambello says, I also recall a dildo baton being swung in Times Square, New York City. Yes, he had a little itty bitty color guard baton twirling black dildo mace that he was using because he wanted to sucker in all the average pencil and paper pushers that work behind a desk, people that are not professional athletes, the average folk, because he knows that the average folk that have really good jobs also have lots of loot, lots of money to be paying $1,000 a head for these deceiving, misleading seminars. They got the money. The yuppies cannot swing a 15-pound or 25-pound or 35-pound mace if it to save their life. So he has the little dildo, which has torque like my shillelagh. The little dildo that looks like it weighs like, what do you think, 5 pounds? You might as well do a shake weight seminar and charge people $1,000 a head. But we're talking about, for those people out there that are unaware of our little private joke, we're talking about scammers, and that is the next subject. And I hate to say, but the scammers are coming out of the woodwork now that there's a pandemic. People are panicking, people are frightened, they're scared out of their wits. There are more scammers selling faulty medical merchandise, medical masks that are porous, and other bullshit crap, as well as price gouging on hand sanitizer, as well as trying to dupe and hoodwink poor senior citizens out of their life savings, people trying to get victims to invest money in unscrupulous scams, kind of like an end of the world safe place to put your money. They're coming out of the woodwork. They're making phone calls. They're all over the internet. They are evil, wicked. They are sociopaths. They show no remorse. They're not guilty for what they do, and they are simply taking advantage of desperate people, people that are panicking, that are afraid. Fear mongering. They're using fear mongering to exploit the public. And this is what's going on. And it's really horrible. This is an evil aspect of capitalism. Yeah, baton twirling is for young girls. That's why I said color guard. You know, even the great Ken Thiessen, who has tons of credentials in the fitness industry, athletic industry, catch wrestling, grappling, professional wrestling, personal trainer, competitive bodybuilding. He's a character actor. He was on The View many times. He was on Saturday Night Live a few times. Commercial model extraordinaire. Even he mentioned about the baton twirling. That is all for show and no go. It has no fitness contribution. Let's put it that way. No fitness contribution. It is all for show, for those that like to show off, like Mr. Tear Ass, otherwise known as Taraz, from the land down under. I will leave it at that. Is twirling a dildo baton an answer to fulfill all fitness needs? Scallywag, scammer, cash-filled enveloping hucksters who tout to hero worshippers on attaining their untapped potential. You people out there, yes, you people, each and every one of you has untapped potential. You have untapped potential. Yes. Cash-filled envelopes that they can hide from the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service. Cash-filled envelopes for doing seminars that they can hide from their ex-wives. Because ex-wives nowadays, especially in California, can take their soon-to-be ex-husbands to the cleaners, to the poorhouse. Yes. And guess who you have to thank for all these anti-male, unfair, hypocritical, anti-equality laws? The man-hating lobbying group known as feminists, militant, man-hating feminists, forced, stupid, spineless, pusillanimous, pipsqueak, pigeon-livered, neoliberal politicians to pass all these laws against men. You know how much child support my mother got from me and my sister, Lisa? $25 a week each. Now, the kids are completely coddled and spoiled beyond belief, especially if it's a yuppie. Jeff Zambello says, how tall are you? How dare your fishing boat is anchored in a certain someone's ocean? Well, because one of the scammers that does seminars for $1,000 a person or close to it, because this person has no physical fitness or nutritional background credentials, because this person is only a forklift operator in a warehouse in, should I say, Southern California, a suburb of Los Angeles. This person, no matter what wonderful news or no matter what accolades someone else posts on mainstream media, or let's say social media, I should say. If someone posts something positive about their achievements on social media, this individual, because he is 6'5" tall, The only thing he says is this: how tall are you? When the great Ken Thiessen posted photos of him performing with Adam Sandler on Saturday Night Live, he asked Ken Thiessen, how tall are you? Instead of saying, congratulations, great photo, man. I'm impressed. You were actually on Saturday Night Live and you perform with people like Adam Sandler. Isn't that wonderful? No, 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 no. No compliment at all. Nothing positive to say. What is an alibi? Why would someone use a person that was dismissed as an alibi? Why would someone show great disrespect to his so-called friends and blow them off at the spur of the moment? Well, Archie Bunker said sperm of the moment. Spur of the moment. Blow them off, disrespect them, and say they had to rush back home to Southern California instead of spending at least one day with his so-called buddies, with his so-called friends. Why on earth? Wait a minute, Jeff Zambello. Maybe you and I were alibis to something else. Just because the second wife used to be a mistress, that doesn't mean that there won't be more mistresses, because my late great grandmother used to say in Italian, a wolf may lose its hair, but not its habits. But she said it in Italian. A wolf may lose its hair, but not its habits. I guess that's like saying a leopard doesn't change its spots. Same crap. Or a hypocrite telling a hypocrite, do not throw stones in a glass house. Okay. I must turn off my corned beef and cabbage. Otherwise, I will have cabbage that will be too soft. I will be back in a flash. Thank you for joining this show. There are people out there that are friends of the progressive red pill Piranha, James P. Madonna, Piranha Madonna. They are good friends. They are loyal friends. But there are those that pretend to be friends that are deceitful. If you want to see what one of the tarot cards represents deceit, it's La Luna, the moon. And you saw it come out when Damian Owens did the first State of the Union tarot card reading Sunday night. But let me turn the food off. I will turn the food off. Oh. Well, apparently the cabbage still needs more cooking, because what happened was when I put the cold raw cabbage in the pot, it caused the water to stop boiling, stop simmering. So I have to wait for the heat to kick up again. You folks are probably wondering, what the hell is this guy talking about with cabbage? Well, just look at your calendar. It is March 17th, 2020. It is St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day once again to all Irish people all over the world. And may the luck of the Irish cause the medical profession to come out with a vaccine or drug for this pandemic coronavirus. And happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm cooking corned beef and cabbage. It's a big slab of corned beef brisket. And this is the special St. Patrick's Day show 2020. That's right. Did I say 2019 before? Did I screw up? Yeah, happy St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, 2020. Just in case I made a mistake. 2020. And today is St. Patrick's Day. And here's the Blackthorn Shillelagh. James, can you please indulge the audience with your African drum? I enjoy listening to the wonderful sound. Well, I could. The only thing is you won't be able to see it unless I lift it up, because of the camera. But I can do it. And I will also play the Jew's harp. Hold on, people. Hold on. I'll get it. Well, the goat skin has to air out a bit. That's the nature of it. But it shouldn't take long. Thank you for appreciating it. All right. Mahogany and goat skin, African djembe drum. All right. That's it. I'm going to play it now. For those of you out there that have never seen it, this is what I played in the Church of the Holy Rosary during Christmas season on demand of the very nice Filipino Father Jose, Padre Jose, but I was discriminated against and squeezed out of the entertainment by the cantor, not Eddie Cantor, the cantor William, Wicked William, the guitar and piano player, and I repeat, very mediocre singer too. Okay, here goes. Play something there. Okay. Too bad I can't fiddle and play some Irish music, but I can't. I don't do that. Uno momento, por favor. I screwed up on the first 2 attempts to go live. So the very last StreamYard link at the bottom over on your Facebook Messenger should work. I messed up. I messed up because I messed up on the entry music. And I am very anal about professionalism, and I terminated the show twice. But the last StreamYard link is the link that should actually work. Jeff Zambello is a loyal Constitution of the United States defender and conservative politically. And he's my good close friend for a long time. And he's a professional athlete from Boston, now living in the maritime province of, I believe, New Brunswick, Canada. And we have hung out together and gone out to eat several times and in person, and we cherish our quality time spent together. Jeff Zambello also was a lieutenant in the Army. He was a paratrooper, and he gives very effective physical fitness workshops. So he's a near dear friend, and he had some good input during today's St. Patrick's Day show. And also Ronnie S. has some really good input as well. And I thank the both of them. And so far it's been an hour, almost an hour and 34 minutes. And my corned beef and cabbage, my corned beef brisket and cabbage is, well, the corned beef is cooked. The cabbage is still raw because, like I said before, when I put the raw cabbage in, it stopped the boiling. So I have to wait for the simmering to kick up again. But it's a pretty sizable St. Patrick's Day meal. Let's see. Ronald J. Theriot from southeastern Louisiana says, sorry about that. The news is coming on in 20 minutes, so it would not be enough time for me to launch into my rants. All right. Well, they're only going to repeat. If you're watching cable mainstream media, they are only going to repeat that like all night long. But it's your call. It's your call, because we touched upon secret societies and the New World Order and how the oligarch and Jeff Zambello mentioned all the secret societies, and we talked about it sufficiently, but you might have more information through research. But it's definitely a rigged situation. I mentioned everything that happened to me today, the way people were behaving. They were behaving like the asteroid is coming close to Earth. Like that movie with, oh man, with, yeah, the daughter of the lead singer that sang that song, oh man, Bruce Willis. Yeah, Bruce Willis was in that movie, right? Oh, the local news, local Louisiana news. Thank you for the multicultural musical gifts in honor of St. Patrick's Day. Well, I didn't play the fiddle. I didn't do an Irish jig, but please do not forget to sign off with the bosun's whistle from Newport, Rhode Island. Thank you for reminding me. I will. Jeff Zambello, oh, I forgot to say, Jeff Zambello has a master's degree in accounting. He is a head corporate controller in accounting. He is the man that I said had no better sense of humor. So, you know, never be stereotyped. Even though I kind of jested about it one time about the personality of an accountant, because Jeff has a very healthy sense of humor, and he was like a department executive. You know, he was in charge of a team of company accountants under him. So yeah, he knows numbers, financing, you know, like the back of his hand. Yeah. Yes, I would have loved to discuss America's Judeo-Masonic cultural roots. Yes, the Freemasons, dating back to Scotland, yes. And all the muckety-mucks and elitists that belong to the secret societies, and how they would love to exploit and racketeer off of a panicking, frightened mainstream population to exploit. And I mentioned that I found out firsthand from state of New Jersey agency that there are more scammers out there exploiting this fear mongering of what's going on right now. They're calling senior citizens, trying to dupe them out of their money. It's getting worse. It's pathetic. It's despicable. It's really, there are some people that are sociopaths that feel no remorse in what they do. And they don't care if they dupe poor seniors out of their life savings because they're in fear for their lives. You know, it's like, it's evil when you have the thoughts of exploiting people's fears for profit. Then we mentioned, you know, about China should really crack down and arrest people for selling endangered and exotic wild animals for food. And I found out that they're doing it as part of the black market. All right, so no wonder this all happened. You know, James, is there any chance for the jester's cap to be worn in honor of St. Patrick's Day? Nah, this is too serious of a show. This beret is my serious show hat. There's really nothing to jest about during this pandemic and what's going on, you know. If it was a very light and happy St. Patrick's Day show, like if it was a St. Patrick's Day show with, let's say, hard liquor and craft beer reviewing and wine, then I wouldn't be wearing the red beret. But what sparked the thought of doing the show, which was totally a sperm of the moment, like Archie Bunker says, was my experiences today with very paranoid, very crazy behaving individuals out there that were just unbelievably acting like Earth is going to be hit by gamma rays from a supernova star, you know, and just, it's really, people are acting really strange out there. Jeff Zambello. James, how do the Bilderbergs relate to the Freemasons? What is the underlying connection? Well, I do not have that answer, but I know that there's a possibility that Ronald Theriot knows the difference and if there's any interconnection between the Bilderbergs and the Freemasons. He would know that. If he's still here, and he wishes to type it, that would be appreciated. But I honestly don't know. I just know that these are the major primary secret societies that the elitists tend to join, the ones that we mentioned throughout the show. You know, so so that is that. So he might have he might have departed to watch the local New Orleans, Louisiana news. You know, maybe he's a routine person. Maybe, you know, my late co-host, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, also, may he rest in peace. He was a stickler for the time, the clock, the calendar. He had a schedule written down of allocated time when he does his reading, when he does this, when he eats his 3 meals a day, when he does that, when he goes online. Like, everything was written in stone for the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman. And I used to bust his balls about it. I used to say, they don't do that in Las Vegas. Why do you feel the need to do that? Are you punching a clock? You're not working for anybody. And he wouldn't stop. He wouldn't give up how he is. He was just very rigid according to his schedule and according to the time he allocates. Me, I can't be that way. But in all honesty, if I make an appointment with someone, I do honor that. I don't like blow people off the last minute if I make an appointment with them. You know, I honor that. I don't like people canceling out on me the last minute. It infuriates me. It's actually disrespectful, to be honest with you. That's a good question. That is a good question. Maybe as people watch the rerun of this show, maybe there are those out there who can answer these questions in the public chat. Are the Bilderbergs the financial elite of the Freemasons? I don't know, but I'm sure there are those that can answer these questions. So on that note, I must tend to my corned beef and cabbage and relax my voice and try to what's the word? Decompress with some nice Black Cat golden aged rum from Suriname, South America. A great bang for the buck, low price but high quality from Suriname, South America. Black Cat rum. I need to decompress. Today was a trying day. I had a lot of important errands that I needed to do. And yeah, so anyway. And now, are the Rothschilds Jewish Italians of 16th century Naples, Italy, members of the Bilderbergs or the Illuminati, Italian word? I believe I was told the Rothschilds were Jews from Florence. You know where Machiavelli is from. You know what do they call those? The infamous money changers of Florence, Italy. The home of Machiavelli and his selfish Machiavellian ideas. Yeah, he believed the ends justified the means. Is that pretty much what sums up Machiavelli? The ends justify the means. Interesting. Yes, I believe there is a historic connection to the Rothschilds, who supposedly are worth like $100 trillion, and their home base office is in London, which is supposed to be where David's throne is located. Yeah, the modern day descendants of the ancient cursed Israeli tribes, Ephraim and Manasseh, are the United Kingdom and the United States. The United States being the birth child of the United Kingdom. So, what happened to the United Kingdom? Well, their empire disintegrated, and they lost their empire. And there might be one or two drips and drabs of the empire left, if that. And the United States is not exactly having much luck over the decades. But it is amazing how a country, England, which is only about the size of the state of Connecticut, could have had such an empire. Interesting. And of course, now they have the arrogance of, with Brexit, they wanted to or did already separate from the European Union, and do not want to use the euro anymore. I guess they're using that British pound. You know, well, they've always been arrogant. You know, like a certain someone that resides in Perth, Australia, in the circular training world. Cheerio, mate. A very diminutive, short-statured person. All right. That is a British college professor with no, and I repeat, no physical fitness or nutritional background whatsoever. Zero credentials. Who picked the brains of the great Richard Army Maguire and never gave him credit or kudos for anything. Ephraim and Manasseh were the sons of Joseph, the son of Jacob. Yeah, well, Jacob's name, I think, was changed to Israel, right? Or was it the other way around? Well, you know, the English word James comes directly from the name Jacob. I think it means a supplanter, whatever the hell that means. I don't know if that means farmer. I have no idea. Yes. Yeah, well, the tribes are still cursed, you know. To this day, the curse has not lifted. You know what? There goes the church bells. They're playing now. They're on like a playlist. They automatically play. Look, there are people out there in this world who are anal retentive, who are very rigid and set in their ways. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Now I'm going to close out with the bosun's whistle. All right. Hold on. Little biblical Bible study education from Jeff Zambello. After Jacob, Hebrew for heel, wrestled the angel of God, he became Israel. He wrestled the angel. Did they mention? You mean physically battled uh, with? Did they mention the name of the angel that Jacob tackled? I can't see a mortal human winning a confrontation with a super powerful supernatural being like an angel. But his name was changed to Israel, Jacob's name. But all I know is in the Old Testament, a lot of people got smited. God was an equal opportunity smiter. Men, women, children, senior citizens, doesn't matter. If you deserve to get smited, you got smited. And I think angels and demons were allowed to, or they did interact and communicate with mortal humans in the Old Testament, but not the New Testament. After the suffering and death and resurrection of Jesus, that all that stopped. All the interactions stopped, and then it was just based on faith. Based on believing what you do not see or hear. Physically wrestled the angel of God, well, an angel of God, because there are loads of angels, which left Israel with a limp in his hip for the remainder of his life. So he was a gimp. So he suffered a permanent injury by tackling with an angel of God. He was limping around like a gimp. Well, that's understandable. It's an angel. Jacob was just a mere mortal. So that's it. I'm ready. I gotta tend to my dinner. St. Patrick's Day. I tell you, this whole situation is like, you know that some of the retail stores in the shopping centers, they told me that they are literally closing this Saturday. Some of them are literally closing. Harmon's Discounts is closing this Saturday. It's happening. Businesses are going to gradually go belly up. She didn't say we're closing early Saturday. She said, starting this Saturday, our store is closing. And it's a chain. It's a chain, Harmon's Discounts. It's a beauty supply store, but they sell lots of other things. And they've been around for a very long time, and they are, according to her, closing. We have quite a situation here. Thank God for technology, the internet, cable TV, and Netflix, and my personal training studio 54, where I do my exercises, and my aquarium, and my good friends. But, but Trader Joe's was, I hate to say it, Trader Joe's was dead. Just keep your distance from other people, from other individuals, at least 1 meter. At least 1 meter. There goes my social life. There goes the dating scene for me, right? People keeping their distance from one another. Holy mackerel. Unless it's somebody that definitely, without a doubt, is not infected, that wants to come over and spend some time Well, I sound like Mae West now, right? Come up and spend some time, big boy. Hey, is that a banana in your pocket, or are you happy to see me? Remember that? I wonder if she really said that. Mae West. She was with W.C. Fields, who I agree with wholeheartedly. He didn't care for children very much. Hey, of course I love children. I love them deep fried. The reason why Jacob, Hebrew for healed, wrestled the angel of God is because Jacob would not let the angel leave his presence until the he was blessed and thus became Israel. So in other words, Jacob was requesting a blessing from the angel. And then when the angel blew him off, Jacob probably got angry and challenged the angel. Is that pretty much what happened? So Jacob must have, I wonder if Jacob received the message, a divine message, that he was perhaps supposed to lead Israel, be a leader at that time in Israel. He might have got the divine message, perhaps. So maybe the angel blowing him off was a test, perhaps, to Jacob's character, to see if he had a backbone and a pair of balls, testicular fortitude, and maybe it was part of a test. You know, well, God tested people for good reason. Women test for insecure, childish reasons. Test men because they want men. They want to crack the whip because they want men to pay a dear price for their vagina. Very interesting, Jeff Zambello. Jeff Zambello is also a long-time Bible studier. Yes, he is. So he wears many hats, Jeff Zambello does. Many hats. And when the vintage games grows close, we will do a show talking about his entry into the vintage games, as well as his perfected workshop, the Jeff Zambello Honest, Safe Physical Fitness Workshop, drug-free and safe. And much of it is body weight exercises, and much of it involves also some circular training is involved. Jeff Zambello says, God loves when we depend on him during our life's challenges, and God's grace enables us to get us beyond our struggles. Well, that was the original purpose of the scenario or the setup of the Garden of Eden with the creation of Adam and Eve. They were supposed to depend and rely upon God for all of their needs. So then they disobeyed God and rejected him. And that's why all of us have to go through life with many struggles, trials, and tribulations, and suffering. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. You know, I cannot wait for the vintage strength games, bodyweight calisthenics, centrifugal torque training, airdyne assault bike, which I believe is made by the famous bicycle company Schwinn, the Cadillac and Rolls Royce of all exercise bicycles, the Schwinn Airdyne. Well, Jeff Zambello recently purchased the Airdyne Assault Bike. Long distance hiking, etc. Make sure you get a nice, made by Cold Steel, a polypropylene walking stick in case you come across any wild animals, like if there's any like mountain lions or anything, any wolverines or whatever the hell you got up there in the maritime provinces. You may have to whack them, because the Cold Steel polypropylene walking sticks can shatter. And I repeat, you can watch it on YouTube. Shatter a cinder block with one hard whack. So you know, if a mountain lion creeps up on you, you will dispatch the mountain lion with a whack. Patty whack. Give the old dog a bone. This man is going home. Some bullshit like that. Participation medals and trophies are not for winners. They are for whiners. Yeah, because they want to be acknowledged. Please pay attention to me. Please build my self-esteem. Worship me. Don't ignore me. Please give me that participation trophy, so I feel like I'm a somebody. Well, guess what? That's the name of the game. You play a game, you have a winner and you have a loser. You play chess, somebody has to win, somebody has to lose. Board games, same way. Poker, cards, gin rummy, you have a loser, you have a winner. Casinos, you have a winner and you have many losers. Professional sports, definitely. You have a winner and a loser. Politics, same way. And it should be the same way with free enterprise system and corporations. No more giving huge taxpayer bailouts to the fat cats because they say we are too big to fail. Why? Because they contribute. They make very large campaign contributions to the politicians that are on the take, that take the bribe. Is that the reason? Is that the reason why they're too big to fail? No, that's not the way life is supposed to work. Participation medals and trophies are not for winners. They are for whiners, yes. Winners are not whiners. Winners are not whiners, and losers should lose gracefully. It's called good sportsmanship. You congratulate the victor for a great game or a great series of games or a great competition, and appreciate the privilege of being in it to try to win it. Yes. You're supposed to lose gracefully, not cry like a fucking baby. You know, like the what are the social worker teacher that says you're all winners. No, you're not all winners. You're all whiners. And I'm not talking about wine tasting in upstate New York either. I'm talking about whining like a crybaby that deserves the crying towel. And there are crying towel crybabies that have to be the only commercial fishing boat in the 7 seas. Speaking of 7 seas, here it comes. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this spur of the moment. Happy St. Patrick's Day show during this pandemic crisis. This show was not planned. This was completely spur of the moment, but I just want to thank everyone and just say happy St. Patrick's Day again to all Irish people throughout the world. Okay. And we need the luck of the Irish to find a vaccine for this pandemic. Now, I say goodbye for now with the bosun's whistle. R. Barnacle Chowder. You have just been on and will depart soon. This progressive Piranha pirate ship. Thank you, and good night, and happy St. Patrick's Day.